Cubs fans? Ryan here. Welcome to episode number 2 of, well, I guess you could call it the second episode of the night, or day, night, whatever you want to call it, guys. But it is the second episode today. Earlier today, we talked about a couple of things. We talked about about last night's interview on the channel. If you haven't seen that interview yet, go and watch it. It was a really, really successful and great interview. We also talked about a little bit of stuff, but mainly in the last episode a few hours ago, I asked a simple question of, what do you guys want to talk about? And what I meant by that is, what did you guys want to talk about in the coming days? Because this episode, we're going to stroll down memory lane. So again, if you guys ever want a suggestion, have a suggestion for a future episode down the road, please feel free to let me know. But other than that, guys, welcome back to the channel of Cubs Baseball with Rye Knight. And I got to be honest with you guys, reading this on X or Twitter or whatever that's called these days, I didn't know this, but 10 years ago on this day, 10 years ago, that would make it January. That would have made it January 19th of 2015. The Chicago Cubs picked up Dexter Fowler. Dexter Fowler signed his contract with the Chicago Cubs 10 years ago today. And the two players the Cubs gave up for Mr. Fowler were Luis Valbuena and pitcher Dan Straley. Those two went to the Houston Astros. I have another name for that team, but to be polite, professional, I'm just going to call them the Houston Astros. But that trade actually happened 10 years ago on this day, 10 years ago. A decade. Today marks the 10th and the official first decade of that trade. I got to be honest with you. Again, Dexter Fowler, guys, he played a really good career. He re-signed after the 2015 season and ended up coming back to win the World Series with the Cubs in 2016. You know, I got to be honest with you guys. To actually know that 10 years ago today, Dexter Fowler became a Chicago Cub is mind-blowing. You know, it kind of, you know, in looking at that, it looks like, it feels like, in a way, it seems like it was yesterday, you know, that Dexter Fowler was a Cub. That it seems like yesterday, you know, a little bit, the Chicago Cubs won the 2016 World Series, even though it's been like 9 years since the Cubs won the World Series. But my whole point in saying, it really just feels like yesterday Dexter Fowler was playing as a Cub, playing on Wrigley Field as a Cub. It just feels like yesterday talking about this, you know. And you know what Dexter Fowler does now? He works for Marquee Sports Network, and I gotta be honest with you, he was a great player and all that. You know, Dexter Fowler, if I can speak for this, I have a feeling in my gut that Dexter Fowler had a big, huge part to do with the Chicago Cubs winning the 2016 World Series. That's not even up for debate. Okay, and 10 years ago, Okay, that's one whole decade now. Today, tonight, whatever you want to call it, it marks one whole decade since Dexter Fowler officially became a Chicago Cub. And the saying that time flies by. Well, I think it really has, because you wake up this morning as a Cub fan, it's day 3 of Cubs Con, and then you hear that 10 years ago today, Dexter Fowler officially became the new center fielder and the new leadoff guy for the Chicago Cubs. 10 years ago today. And that it really does amaze me, because I have a lot of respect for Dexter Fowler, both on and off the field. I mean, the guy signs a 1-year deal with the Cubs in 2015. And what do the Cubs do? They go to the wild card in Pittsburgh, and they win the wild card game against the Pirates. And do you guys remember? I mean, we're just talking good old times memory lane here. Do you guys remember that the 2015 National League wildcard game, it was Jake Arrieta and Garrett Cole, the starting pitching matchup. And the funny thing about that, actually, is Jake Arrieta is not an MLB pitcher anymore. Garrett Cole is, and he's on the Yankees. And Garrett Cole, I mean, in 2015, that was his first time he ever started or even pitched in a MLB postseason game. And 2015 was also the first year Joe Maddon was a manager of the Cubs. The Cubs winning the wild card, they go on and they beat the St. Louis Cardinals in the NLDS, and then they lose to the Mets in the NLCS. And I look back at the 2015 season, Cubs season, and I mean, we're getting off track a little bit on Dexter Fowler, but I actually look back at the 2015 Cubs season. And if you could ask me if Joe Maddon made any mistakes in the postseason, the answer would be no. I don't believe managers can manage a perfect game, but remember how good the Mets were in 2015. Now remember this, they had Matt Harvey, they had Noah Syndergaard, okay, and these are two guys who were dominant at that point. Those two names, if you look at it on paper, Noah Syndergaard and Matt Harvey, in 2015, the New York Mets did not need any pitching. They didn't need a pitcher except two guys, Matt Harvey and Noah Syndergaard. The reason the Cubs didn't win the NLCS is because they had to beat Noah Syndergaard and Matt Harvey. And it's plain and simple, and so, but I look at it this way, okay? The 2015 Cubs did not go to the World Series, and they came extremely close, okay? Now, Dexter Fowler in 2015, he only signed a 1-year deal with the Cubs. It wasn't like a multi-year deal. So, we go into the offseason, and actually the question was on Dexter Fowler. I remember it vividly. I remember, everybody asking, where's Dexter Fowler going to sign? He was, in 2016, as spring training approached, nobody had heard nothing from Dexter Fowler. And luckily, he signs a 1-year deal with the Cubs in 2016, and that was a magical year. That was the year I graduated high school, and just a few months after I graduated high school, I was spraying champagne in my house at the age of 18 because the Cubs won the World Series. And unfortunately, the Cubs have not played in a World Series since. But here's the good news to the Cubs not playing in a World Series sentence. There is really good news to that story. The Cubs have not played a game in a MLB World Series since November 2nd of 2016. That was the last time the Cubs took the field in a World Series. What is the good news out of that? One thing, the last time the Cubs took the field in the World Series, they came back and won the damn thing. So, think about it. There is a good story. Think about it this way, okay? The last time the Yankees played in a World Series or even took the field was a couple months ago. And if you're a Yankee fan, no disrespect, but did you guys see how the Dodgers won that game? It wasn't like the Cubs. It was bigger than the Cubs. But there's a lot of similarities, okay? And so, you know what, guys? I don't want to call my shot in 2025, but maybe we should say this. How about when spring training is over in 2025, the Cubs have the best record? How about that? That's something to be happy about. So, but you know what, guys? 10 years ago today, Dexter Fowler officially became a Cub. It feels like yesterday, by all means. I mean, I'm not going to lie on that. It's been a whole decade, and the great news about that is Dexter Fowler he works with Marquee Sports Network. He's on the pregame show. He's calling games. That's great, and that's what I love seeing. So, yeah, I mean, 10 years ago today, Dexter Fowler officially became a Chicago Cub. It's amazing to me. It kind of is jaw dropping to me, you know. But man, you know what? It's always great, you know, to go down memory lane, you know, because the Cubs. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Maybe we should be talking the Cubs World Series. Maybe we could talk about that closer to opening day. I think that would be a more appropriate time at that point. But yeah, 10 years ago, guys, Dexter Fowler signed a one-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. It's amazing, you know, really is. I like it. But all right, you know what, guys? I don't know if you guys are getting bored. I think I'm a delight having this conversation about it. But man, 10 years ago today, he became a Cub. It's amazing to me. But all right, guys, I'm just gonna have to end it right there. But there's a fun fact for you. Today marks the 10th anniversary since Dexter Fowler signed a contract to play center field with the Chicago Cubs. It's just amazing to me. So, all right, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Man, it still amazes me to this day that it's been that long. And wow, thank you, Dexter Fowler. We could say that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great, safe rest of your Sunday night. I will see you all right back here in the next episode, y'all.